Welcome to the Sweet 16 edition of the Cover 4 podcast. Is my partner out in Provo, Utah, Randy Gibson, and I get to talk a little Sweet 16, not only on the men's side, but the women's side as well. The Lady Sooners bowing out, losing to Indiana 75-68 in the round of 32, and good season for OU's women, but saved themselves from a dire embarrassment in the Sweet 16 because they would have had to run into Dawn Staley and South Carolina.
Yeah, that was going to be a tough one. Indiana, of course, number 4 seed. Sooners were ahead at halftime and different times throughout the game, but Indiana is a great women's basketball team. They fought back. Kudos to them. Come back to pull it out 75-68.
And that was a good experience for the ladies from OU to play in a very historic arena, Assembly Hall there in Bloomington.
It was.
That's quite a place. That is ranked in some polls as far as the basketball arenas in the top 10 of all the college basketball arenas around the country.
I'm sure. You know, it like you said, it really is an historic arena. Indiana's, of course, goes back decades with their basketball programs. So it's what a fun place to play.
Night to be,
yes.
As far as on the men's side, they've got a few national championship banners in that place.
Yeah.
They are the last men's team to run the table, go undefeated.
Wow.
And
I knew they had done it, but I didn't know they were the last ones that did it.
They are the last team to go undefeated. And that's quite, like I say, for the Lady Sooners, quite an accomplishment to make it the NCAA tournament and get to the round of 32, win a tough one in game 1, but then falling to the Hoosiers. And now the Hoosiers got to face a team that I saw just absolutely demolish Arkansas. And they're good. I mean, they have a great opportunity to win it again. But there's some other teams out there. I mean, not just Iowa. You've got Stanford's there. Notre Dame would be the next opponent, either Notre Dame or Oregon State for South Carolina. Texas is right there. They've got Gonzaga, and then winner of that one gets Stanford or NC State in the Elite Eight. In regional number 4, region 2, Iowa's got Colorado, a surprise team on the women's side, and even though they were the 5 seed, so they get Caitlin Clark and the Hawkeyes in the Sweet 16. But then the winner of that gets UCLA or LSU.
Oh, geez.
Well, that's a tough one. And then region 3 is USC's the 1 seed at that region, and they've got Baylor. And the winner of that gets Duke or UConn. And Duke is a 7 seed in that one. So
you're hearing all these basketball schools. It's going to be great.
Yes. and those will be Saturday, Monday games on the women's side of the tournament. And ESPN has the the tournament bracket challenge, and I played on the women's side. I did 2 auto picks.
Mm-hmm.
And I got one that is sunk. The other one, I'm sitting with 570 points right now.
Oh, wow.
I'm like 65,000th rank, and my percentage is 98.2%. And I've
Hey,
got
that's not too
everybody
shabby at
alive,
this point.
and I'm alive to everybody in this round. Now I've got South Carolina winning it, and the final would be a rematch of South Carolina and Iowa. Would be
Mm-hmm.
is the final in this auto pick tournament challenge. Then so it's quite interesting to see what happens with this one. Then let me get out of the one there and look at the men. The men's bracket, well, the Sweet 16 is upon us for the
Yep.
men.
A few surprises as normal.
Oh, yeah, as usual. James Madison was a team that made it to the round of 32, got knocked off. They were a 12 seed that knocked off Wisconsin. Then they got absolutely drilled in theirs. The team I think you've got to watch out for, that's I've got playing is Alabama. I think you got to watch out for them because they can score a ton of points. I mean, they scored first round, they scored 109 against Charleston. They beat in the second round, they won 71-62 against Grand Canyon. They get we're going to find out how good they are. They get Carolina next, so that's going to be interesting. UConn is against Iowa State out of the Big 12. That's going to be an interesting ball game.
It is. It is. Iowa State, I was kind of looking, they're the number 2 seed.
Yes. And they've got to play, they got Illinois.
They got Illinois coming up later on the Thursday.
Yep. Thursday night. And guy who coached in Stillwater for a year, Brad Underwood. He is the head coach at Illinois. So
yeah, there's some great games. You were talking about the Alabama game. That's what's going to be fantastic. Arizona taking on Clemson. Of course, the Iowa State, Illinois, that's going to be a huge one.
Yeah. South region, another Big 12 school now, the Houston Cougars. They get Duke in that.
Yeah, number 1 and number 4.
Number 4. And, since he is no longer broadcasting the tournament, Jim Nance has went full bore Houston Cougar red and white. And he's been at the games. He was at the last game and had him on camera. And he played golf for the Cougars. One of his teammates was as we call him, Mr. Smooth, Freddie Couples, was on that team when they played down there. And it would be something for them to make the Final Four, and Nance is in the stands at the Big Toaster in a couple of weeks, next week.
Next week, absolutely. Yeah, it's coming fast.
Yes.
You
is
going back, you were talking about Marquette and North Carolina State.
Yeah, I was getting ready to talk on that. And
yeah,
North Carolina State is the lowest seed left, the 11th seed.
That's what I was going to say, taking on the number 2 seed Marquette. But they took out another Big 12 team ranked number 6 seed, Texas Tech, and they beat them pretty soundly. 80-67.
And North Carolina State is on a heater right now.
They are.
Went through the ACC tournament the hard way. They wound up 5 games in 5 days in Charlotte, either Charlotte or Greensboro, wherever they played the ACC tournament at this year. And they ran the table. And I was just looking on Facebook today, their broadcaster, he's retiring after the end of the year. And what a way to go out. They win the ACC tournament, and now they're in the Sweet 16. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Midwest region, Purdue and Gonzaga. And boy, did the Zags put a number on KU.
They sure did. Man, KU, we talked about that a little bit last week, saying that KU, had their injury bug hit them and wondered kind of how that would be. And man, Zags totally took control. Had a little bit of things happen after the game, though, regarding the coach, Bill Self.
Yeah.
You can see it's been, there was some question because he said, one of the things he said was this is a quote, from the last month, I've been thinking about next season, to be honest. When he was asked about the game, a lot of people wondered kind of what he meant by that. Now, coaches are always thinking ahead to the next season whenever they get to the end of the season. So I kind of took it as, just another thing. But he did get some pushback on that comment from some across the sports world. But did you see that he got signed to a lifetime contract?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And he is, I think Bill knew that he had a bunch of guys hurt. And when that kid, when he announced prior to that first ball game that one of his main cogs wasn't even going to play, I think he knew they'd be lucky to get past week 1.
Yeah.
And Mark Few and Gonzaga is playing like Gonzaga.
Yeah.
And
Gonzaga's always been the basketball team to watch for come the tournament time.
And they get Purdue, Zach Edey, a big 7'4" tree that Purdue's got. And the winner of that one gets Creighton or Tennessee. And Tennessee comes out, wins their ball game against Texas, 62-58. And really did not play that well. But the guys, the supporting cast, wound up holding up the Vols, and they're on to the Sweet 16. And I still say they're dangerous. And I said they were the best team I saw of the games I saw at Arkansas. Tennessee was the best one I saw, and behind that was Auburn, and then Auburn goes out and lays an egg in the first round.
Yep.
So to kind of save face for the SEC, The Vols need to win that one against Creighton, get to the Elite Eight, and have a shot at possibly going to the Final Four. So, but there's going to be some great ball games.
Oh yeah,
coming up Thursday night, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then we get ready next week. The Final Four out in Phoenix, or really Glendale, where State Farm Stadium, as Berman calls it, the Big Toaster. That's where they'll play the Final Four. So it's getting close to the end of the season. Be very interesting for me as far as watching the ball games, see if any of the guys that I see calling games at Arkansas get to advance and get down to possibly calling the Final Four. I got one guy in particular who broke in as far as college basketball is concerned. Don Daly, refereed here at Northeastern back in the Lone Star days. And I haven't seen him on the court as of yet anyway, but he's a guy that Eddie Jackson, who's a friend of mine, used to be the receivers coach here at Northeastern with Tom Eckert and
really?
Elliott. He went on to become a outstanding official until went down to Dallas for a rules meeting, got done. They were playing golf and they were looking for a golf ball, and a tree limb hit him right here, and he lost his eye. And he's now the supervisor of officials for the Missouri Valley, and also assigns for the MIAA, the Great American Conference. That's two Division II conferences, and also assigns for the OCAC, which is the junior colleges here in the state of Oklahoma. Supervises about 325, 350 officials during the season, and probably has been at one of the regional sites being one of the observers, grading the officials and telling them who is going to advance and go on. Because not only do you, the teams go on, but the officials get graded, and those guys that grade high, they get to keep going. So
more money.
A little more money, right? They do get paid quite well. Now the NCAA pays for their flights and their hotel, but their game fee, the further they go, the game fees got to go up as well.
Sure, I'm sure it does.
Now, the one thing that I have noticed, and I don't know why the NCAA does this when they get to the tournament, is they do not use precision timing, which is the battery operated control system that everybody uses in college basketball. It's about the size of a cell phone. And if you watch a ball game during the regular season, you see the guys, and even in the NBA, see them reach back or reach to the side and for this box that's on their belt. And what it is, it starts and stops the clock. There is a microphone that attaches to their lanyard, and everybody uses the Fox 40 whistle. It's a keyless whistle. I've got probably 3 or 4 in my drawer, and the sound of that whistle stops the clock like that immediately. And it takes the guesswork out of the score, the timer, sitting at the scores table having to listen for the whistle. But they don't use it. I don't know why. And I've been watching it all tournament, and when they had it in Tulsa, they didn't use it. And I really question why they don't use it, because you use it all year. So it's something I'd like to ask NCAA, or even better yet, if I knew how to get a hold of Eddie, ask him, say, why are they not using that? It sure would take care of your last minute whistles, when you call a quick timeout. So just something to think about. But we'll see how things go this week as far as the tournament is concerned. Baseball, believe it or not, Major League Baseball starts Thursday.
Wow, already.
Yeah, already. And that is the Rangers get to hoist the banner Thursday night against the Cubs, also known as the Flubs, the Scrubs.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call them. They are, they'll be in Arlington. They're not going to have the ring ceremony until Saturday night down in Arlington. I would really like to see what those World Championship rings look like. Hopefully, I'll get to see one of them there on Saturday night. It'll be on Bally Sports Southwest. So, like I say, baseball season is here. Check on the Redmen. See how they are doing. They are playing today. They have got UCO. Let me see if I can pull up the live stats. They are currently in the top of the seventh up at Rousey Field, and the Broncos lead 4-2 in the top half of the seventh. The Redmen won 2 out of 3 at Emporia. So now they got to face UCO, who was ranked in the top 25 of the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Poll during the last couple of weeks. Softball, Lady Reds lost to Missouri Southern. They lost, I can see, 6-1 in one game. Let me see what they did in the other one. They played that one here. So let me do some digging. They lost to the 11th ranked Pittsburgh State Gorillas 13-2 and 11-2. So they got run ruled twice, and then Missouri Southern beat them 3-2 and 6-4. And then they have got doubleheader with Lincoln on Friday, and then Central Missouri comes to town on Saturday. So that'll be the series this week up at the Lady Reds softball field. They're right across from Dan Deloach Field, the soccer field for the Redmen and Lady Reds. So that's coming up. The men, I think the guys have got to go on the road this week. Let's see. Yeah, they've got a 3-game set. No, they are home. They are home this week. They get Pitt State. So the Gorillas come down for 3. And with that being with it being Easter weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday ball games up at Rousey Field, and 5 o'clock for Thursday and Friday, and then 1 o'clock on Saturday. So if you're not doing anything, and drift up and watch the Redmond take on the Gorillas, and you do have to pay now to watch the ball game. I think it's only $5. So, but they got to pay the umpires. So that's the one thing to do to come up and support the baseball team and the softball teams whenever they're home. So that's coming up this weekend as far as NSU is concerned. Arkansas, they ranked number 1 in the country again unanimously after winning 2 out of 3 at Auburn. They just defeated University of Arkansas Little Rock today, 11-0. So they run ruled them. And now they've got an appointment with the LSU Tigers.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, fun at Baum Walker. And that will be on ESPN on the family of networks. So you can watch the ball games from Baum Walker Stadium. Be the easiest place to watch the ball games because it's nearly impossible to get a ticket, as it'll be number 1 against number 8.
Yeah.
As the Bengal Tigers from Baton Rouge come to town. The game on Thursday will be on ESPN2, SEC Network on Friday, and then the game will be digital over the internet on Saturday. So 2 of the 3 games will be on TV, number 1 against number 8. So that'll be quite interesting. I'm going to say close to 35,000 for the 3-game series there in Fayetteville. So it'll be really good, as Hagen Smith will start for the Razorbacks on Thursday night. And the way he's throwing the ball, he's struck out double digits like last 3 or 4 times on the mound. He struck out 12 down at Auburn and got pitcher of the week for the 2nd time this season. And the first time was when he struck out 17 down in Arlington in that 3-game classic down there at Globe Life Field. So what about your Sooner softballers?
Sooners, well, me back in the Sooner baseballers, the men first. Started out, Big 12 doing really well, and then we hit West Virginia. Friday night, had a great game. One of the first of 3. Sooner baseballers, the men won big, 13-0, and we thought, okay, we're going to get on a roll in the Big 12, and then drop the next 2, losing to the Mountaineers 5-9 and 3-8, both last Saturday on the 23rd. This week, going back out of conference, taking on Oral Roberts and Lamar, and then Wichita State before we get back into the Big 12 Friday, a week from Friday, April 5th, taking on the first of 3 against the Cowboys of Oklahoma State in Stillwater.
Okay. Are they playing all 3 games in Stillwater, or are they moving that around like they used to?
Nope. They are playing all 3 of those games in Stillwater.
Okay. Because used to they would play in Tulsa, and then they would play at Bricktown.
Right. But nope, this round, all 3 of them in Stillwater. Friday April 5th, Saturday, April 6th, and Sunday, April 7th. So 3 days, 3 games against the Cowboys.
And the one thing that the Sooner baseballers are going to find out whenever they get in the SEC next year, once they get into conference play, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, there's going to be no gaps as far as non-conference concerned. Everything will be in the league.
Yeah. And that's going to be different for them because with the Big 12, you intermix non-conference games in and out. And headed over to the girls, though, OU softball still on a roll, solidifying their top spot, complete sweep of the Baylor Bears. And a couple of your SEC teams, Georgia cracks the top 3 in the softball world. LSU took a tumble, though.
Yeah. They, now, Arkansas, they took it on the chin. Now, they lost 6-3 in the first one, came back 1-3-0, and then got run ruled 15-7-5 against Mississippi State. They canceled the game against UCA, and now they do a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No, take that back. This is going to be a Saturday, Sunday, Monday series against the aforementioned Lady Bulldogs of Georgia, and they've got to go to Athens to face them. And Courtney Deifel was talking that this past week that they were running thin on pitching, and that's the reason why they got lit up in Game 3. And she had a couple of her starters could not throw this week, so she was hoping to have them back for this week. And then next week they're back home and they take on the Missouri Tigers and get to see a Tahlequah boy coaching for Missouri, Jeff Cottrell, who's in his second season as the hitting coach up in Columbia. So, get to see him next Friday night as I'm working for the SEC Network, doing talent stats, and they call it booth coordinator. It's really stage manager. Sit in the announce booth, and
that'd be fun.
I'll sit next to whoever's doing play-by-play and listen to the producer, and then they'll say, Jim, give them card 1 or card 2. I'll have a card holder and I'll get it, tap them on the arm, hand that to them, and then you'll see the graphic up on the screen, and then they'll talk about the upcoming game or upcoming show that they'll have on ESPN or the SEC Network, and do that Friday and also on Sunday. They have a 5 o'clock start for the Friday night game. They have a noon game on Saturday that's going to be digital, and then back on the SEC Network on Sunday the 7th, beginning at 2 o'clock. So I'll get to talk to Jeff a little bit. Probably Friday, give him a little chastising, and I'm looking for the worst hitting coach in the SEC. I'll be, ask the girls to look for him, and I'm looking for this guy that he don't know a thing about hitting. So see what happens. So,
talking about hitting, going back just real quick to the Sooner softball. They're going to be taking on this weekend, beginning Thursday, for a triple game, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, number 24 Kansas Jayhawks up in Lawrence. So
they go up to Lawrence this week.
it could be an interesting game up there. Then after that, they get to from going north to Kansas, they get to travel south to Austin and take
That
on
will be a huge series.
that will be a triple header against the Texas Longhorns, and so they've got quite a road trip coming up in the next couple of weeks. 3 games over the weekend in Lawrence, Kansas, and then the very next weekend, 3 games down in Austin. And those ones against Texas are going to be on ESPN,
Yes.
ESPN and ESPNU. Big game. Then just looking on down the road, coming up in April, my Cougars of BYU out here in Provo get to travel to Norman.
Ooh, that's welcome to real softball for the Lady Cougars.
Yeah, you say yes. They interesting. Gymnastics did well, but yeah, it's going to be funny. I talked to some of the softball players last summer whenever they got into the Big 12 out here, and asked them what they thought about playing Oklahoma. They said they were excited to be able to play Oklahoma. So we'll see how they feel come April 11th, 12th, and 13th.
Yeah. You're talking about gymnastics. Lady Sooners, number one, they won the Big 12 this past weekend. And I believe they host one of the regionals, but also a regional is going to be held in Fayetteville.
Oh, really?
The gym backs are going to host the regional over there. They're going to have it in Bud Walton, and the gym backs, they get Kentucky, Arizona, and Nebraska are the 4 teams that they will compete against. And the top 2, they get to advance to the final round. And then the top 2 out of that get to head to Dickies Arena, and that's where the Nationals are going to be. And I know Jordan Weber would love for her gym backs to make that trip down to Fort Worth. But then again, you've got also coming to Fayetteville the number 2 team in the land, the Southeastern Conference champions, the LSU Tigers are coming to Fayetteville. That means Olivia Dunn comes to Bud Walton Arena, and hopefully they've got a whole lot of security ready.
Hope so. I hope so.
Needless to say, because she's the hottest thing out there, and she backs. The other thing of it is she backs it up. She's good at what she does, and LSU is good at what they do. Arkansas came in 6th at the SEC meet. They did score 197 plus, which has been something that they've been doing literally all year, except for, I think, one meet. And then they competed against Nebraska and scored a 198 for the first time ever. They had never scored 198. And OU in the Big 12 championship, they nearly scored 199.
Really?
Yeah. It was
I saw that. They said it was the highest score in
Big 12 history.
Big 12 history. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unprecedented. 15 Big 12 championships for the Sooners in gymnastics.
Yeah. And they'll be the ones to beat going down to Fort Worth. I mean, they would have to lay an egg big time for them not to go to Fort Worth. it'll be, like I say, it'll be quite interesting. I was looking at the tickets for the meet over there. Let me pull that up. Go to the website here for Arkansas sports. Let me get to gymnastics. Okay, Arkansas seated 10th at the regional. That's going to be at Bud Walton. Let's look at pull up the release here. They will host at Fayetteville number 2 LSU, number 7 Kentucky, number 15 Minnesota, Arizona, Nebraska, Oregon State, Boise State, and the Lady Cougars. BYU's coming to Fayetteville.
That'll be a fun one.
Yes. Now, BYU and Boise State compete in a play-in dual meet on Wednesday. So BYU's got to win that to go into Thursday evening to the semifinal session with LSU, Minnesota, and Oregon State. Woo. That's water moccasin there. And then
it sure is.
The Gymbacks compete in the afternoon in the semifinal with Kentucky and Arizona and Nebraska. And the top 2 go into the final, which will be on Saturday. Then the top 2 from that go on to the national championship, the 18th, 19th, and 20th at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. Tickets are available through the ArkansasRazorback.com. You can get the tickets there. Let me see. The tickets are, let's see. They are all session. Let's see. The session number 1 for BYU and Boise State, any of the afternoon sessions and even the regional final is $6 or more. And then the all sessions is $16.
Oh, wow.
Let's see, take that back. All session is 30 for adults and 15 for kids. So that's not bad to see.
No, not at all.
To see 4 sessions, you're going to get, it only costs you $7.50. And then if you get the single is $11 for adults, $6 for kids. Still cheap.
Still a good buy.
Still a real good buy. And like I say, the hardest ticket to get is baseball. And it'd be pretty much general admission. That's about all you could get for a Arkansas baseball game. And really softball as well, because softball, you got to sit out in the berm in the outfield because all the chairbacks are already taken. So, but anyway, well, who do you think is going to be in the Final Four?
Still looking at Purdue.
Yeah.
Of course, like we talked about earlier, Houston. But I'm curious to see how far do you think Houston will go?
I think they'll be in Arizona. Uh,
They seem to really be playing well right now, don't they?
yeah, and Kelvin's got them playing well. I think Tennessee will be. They've got a chance, but they got to go through Purdue. UConn's UConn. I mean,
They're always going to be there.
They're going to be right there. I mean, they would have to absolutely stub their toe, I think, for them not to get there. I mean, I think they could get to. I think they'll get to the Final Four because they play San Diego State, and then you get Iowa State or Illinois in the Elite 8.
Mm-hmm.
So the interesting one's going to be the West. Playing
Yeah, it is.
Lakers, where the Lakers play, which used to be Staples Center. Bama, Carolina, Arizona, and Clemson. And Carolina could get there, but if Alabama wins that ball game against Carolina, I think Alabama gets there
Very
because
well
they can
could.
score a ton of points. If they get hot, I mean, they can score triple digits. They've proven that.
They've already shown it that they can. Absolutely.
Then South, if Houston gets by Duke, I think they're there.
I kind of do too. This is going to be a good one for them.
Yeah. Then probably the matchup that everybody wants to see is Purdue and Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be the matchup, but Mark Few has got something up his sleeve to try to stop Zach Edey and Purdue.
Oh yeah.
He's
been
down that road too many times. He's a great.
This is nothing new for the Zags.
No. So we'll find out. And that's the Midwest region. And that's in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
The South region is in Dallas. So that's that's Houston.
That's going to give Houston a little bit of an advantage. I mean,
oh yeah, but you're playing at American Airlines Center.
Yeah, you're 4 hours away, and it's Texas. So
right. Yeah. So let's put it this way: there'll be a lot of red there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just like in the Midwest, there's going to be a lot of black and gold.
Yeah, there will be.
But there's also going to be a lot of orange.
Yeah, there will.
That'll be something to see that in the Elite 8.
Sure will. That would be the game to watch in the 8, I believe.
I think so too. I really do. That's probably going to be, in my estimation, that could be the best one out of the bunch.
I think so. I mean, you got the potential of having North Carolina and Arizona in the West, 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Good game. You got the potential of having UConn and Iowa State in the East. But man, that Tennessee Purdue matchup is just, it could be one for the books.
Yeah, that one you could see him storing anywhere from 170 to 190 total in that one.
Fun thing is, by the time we do this podcast next week, we'll know.
Yeah, we will.
If that's going to be the matchup or not.
Yep, that's not only the Final Four for the guys, but we will also know the Final Four for the girls.
That's right.
As they play their Elite 8 on Monday night, and we get to see who in the heck goes to Cleveland.
Yep.
So
Definitely going to be a fun weekend if you like basketball.
Oh yeah, and we do love basketball, and like I say, baseball is upon us. We'll just see what happens, and we'll talk about that. And we talked about my Rangers, but let's talk about the Cardinals. There's a lot of people around here, big Cardinal fans. Well, let's see as St. Louis will open up the season. Let me get the Cardinals up here. Let me trying to get to here on MLB. Let me get the teams up here. There we go. Cardinals, they get to open against the Dodgers in Dodger Stadium. So that's their opener. They play 4 out there, then go to San Diego for 3, and then come home on April 4th, take on the Miami Marlins, and that will be opening day at Busch. So Ryan Helsley and the guys will drive around, be driven around the warning track there at Busch Stadium. Everybody gets to see the players in the Ford, either Ford Mustangs or Ford pickups, as they supply the vehicles to bring the players around so everybody can see them. But the one thing that's a tradition at Busch Stadium on opening day, before they bring out the dignitaries, the Hall of Famers for the Cardinal Hall of Fame, and the players, is some very famous horses. The Budweiser Clydesdales, the full hitch, makes a circle around Busch Stadium to open up every baseball season there in St. Louis. And they'll do it again come a week from Thursday, or as I call them, Mom's horses. She loves to see the Clydesdales. So, well, I think we've got it pretty well covered. And like I said, next week, we're going to talk Final Four, both sides, as the men and the women get ready to cut down the nets in Phoenix and also in Cleveland, as the Final Four takes place next week. For my partner, Randy Gibson, out in Provo, Utah, I'm Jim Trickett. We'll talk to you all next week on the Cover 4 podcast. So long, everybody.